Monday Insights, that deep dive into meteorology, and there is plenty to dive into. First of all, the chilly air is going to be with us the whole first half of December, so we'll get used to that. But that doesn't mean it's all snow all the time, depending on where you are. We're going to look at that, too, and how that comes into play with the Thursday, what we call Clipper system. We'll talk about that in a late week cold surge that's in the forecast behind that Clipper system. Let's set the stage with the jet stream. Big trough, big dip in the jet stream. Remember, cold air resides on the north side of the jet stream. We are into the colder than normal air. But the other thing that's really important to note is if you follow that jet stream back, and by the way, you line it up with the legend at the top, and you look at how fast the winds are blowing, 150 miles an hour or greater at the heart of this thing, and it's coming straight down out of northwest Canada and Alaska. So I want to shift the view up there, and I want to put on atmospheric energy. This shows you where there's energy in yellows and oranges and reds. You've got one disturbance coming out of the Beaufort Sea, which is loaded with cold. It's coming from near the North Pole. You got another one that's coming off the Gulf of Alaska. That one's got moisture. These two are going to come together as they reside in that jet stream wind, and watch what happens as they get together. They organize better. They start dropping toward the upper Great Lakes on Wednesday morning. But it's important to note the origin of this system. Coming from the Beaufort Sea, it's going to carry a load of cold behind it because it's come from nearly at the North Pole. Two things that means. One, be ready for a cold surge behind it as we get into Friday and the start of the upcoming weekend. But two, keep in mind that if you can bring that cold air and line it right up behind the system, what you'll end up doing is merging the moisture, little bit of moisture. It's not like it's a ton. You're not tapping the Gulf of Mexico, but what you got off the Pacific with that colder air, it gives you more efficient accumulating snow. In other words, a little bit fluffier nature to the snow, particularly in northern New England, and that can drive up your accumulations overall. Again, that would be as we get to Wednesday night and Thursday when it arrives here. In the interim, it's not a lot going on. Here's tomorrow's weather map. There is a disturbance coming through, and I want to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. We do have cool air, cooler than normal across a lot of the east. I don't know that I'd call it downright cold. You've got widespread highs that are running in the 30s with some 20s mixed in. It is winter after all. But nonetheless, the air is cold enough coming in here that overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, we may get a little snow shower on the outer portion of Cape Cod. I was a little bit more excited about this Sunday evening than I am now, only because the wind looks a little bit more northwesterly rather than northwesterly. So that may point a lot of that just offshore, but some flakes may be in the air on the outer Cape anyway tonight and the Tuesday morning. Also worth noting, Tuesday afternoon, that weak disturbance, not the one we looked at out of the Beaufort Sea and Gulf of Alaska, but weak disturbance rides through, and that means maybe a snow shower, a flurry here and there on your Tuesday afternoon to the early evening. You can track all of that with our app. It's totally free. Noyes is 1 degree outside weather on both the App Store and Google Play. Let's get to the Clipper system now. Wednesday, we're out ahead of it. The wind is going to increase out of the south, and that's why I say not everybody is locked in for snow Wednesday night and Thursday. Notice high temperatures in the 30s and the deep blue, 20s across northern New England on Wednesday. That certainly sets the stage for northern New England to see all snow. Central New England will probably see all snow as well. When does it start? Well, remember, it's diving in Wednesday morning toward the upper Great Lakes, so that means it really won't get here with the first flakes until we get to Wednesday evening. Here's the map at 9:15, snow breaking out in blue. Notice with that southerly wind and a warm front through us, you do have enough warm air. You're probably going to rain near the south coast. You're probably going to rain in southeastern Mass. You will probably start with a little mixture of rain and snow, maybe a very light accumulation in the Boston metro, and then go over to rain. By Thursday morning, it is still snowing outside of Route 495 through central Massachusetts, through western Mass and northwest Connecticut, and snowing through a lot of central and northern New England. But again, that southerly wind off the still relatively mild Gulf of Maine means the Maine coastline up to about the Turnpike likely makes a change over to rain over the course of late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now, Thursday during the day is interesting because the storm center goes by, and certainly the inclination would be to bring in drier air on Thursday and call it a wrap. But it's not totally done because remember we talked about the surge of cold that's coming in behind it. So while this is drawn as a trough or a wind shift, it likely will be a reinforcing cold front that drops through us on Thursday afternoon into evening. That very well may bring a round of snow showers or even heftier snow squalls, depending on how energized it is. Remember, there's a lot of energy we looked at in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So that's a possibility for a quick snow shower, snow burst, snow squall on Thursday afternoon or evening. It opens the door to that cold air that comes in on Friday. You'll see that reflected in our app as well. And the other thing on Friday is we get the lake effect snow machine going again. So actually you may be able to carry some of those all the way into central and southern New England on Friday, but they would probably be scattered snow showers by the time they got here. really early on a snow call, but I actually think there's decent agreement and kind of run-to-run consistency here in the forecast, which would generally, if you line this up, be about a 1 to 3 inch or 1 to 2 inch snowfall in white, about a 2 to 4 inch in the light blue, and then some areas with higher terrain will get higher amounts. I'm not sold yet on these 8 to 12 spots, but I am sold on a large 4 to 6 zone across the north with higher amounts in the mountains. So to push it beyond 8 certainly could happen. But bottom line, you get the idea that the farther north and northwest you go, not only the more into the cool air you are in southern New England, but moreover, the more you get what we talked about with that efficient snow production that goes on across northern New England. So again, certainly not written in stone yet, but you get the idea anyway. So day by day, as we go through the next couple, again, it's not like you've got warm air in place, but Tuesday you're running close to 40 in southern New England. Tuesday night, we're dropping down to the teens and 20s. Wednesday, here's that southerly wind that gets you up not only near 40, but closer to 50 on the Cape. That's the reason southeastern and far southern areas do not snow on Wednesday night. For most of us, it gets cold enough to snow. And then Thursday, again, you get that mixture that tries to ride farther north that we looked at, although in northern New England, you never end up seeing that. By Friday, here's the blast of cold coming in. The wind is whipping out of the northwest. The wind chill Friday will be in the 20s at the warmest time of the day. And again, some of the snow showers may carry all the way in off of Lake Ontario. In terms of what else we're watching, coming up later this weekend, probably going to be focused on Sunday. There's one disturbance to watch. Then early next week, there's another one that comes into play. Again, not guaranteed to be snow for everybody, but at least you do know that there are plenty of things to watch. And as I'll tell you about in the monthly forecast coming up later today, don't forget, it's the first weekday of the month, so we post that. We are going to be looking at how northern New England's monthly precipitation may be different from southern New England's. And if you're a skier, I think you might like what that means. Nonetheless, our 1 Degree Outside merchandise is here, swag.onedegreeoutside.com. Thanks to all of you who have purchased something and supported us. We appreciate that. That's how things look for now. That was the deep dive, right? There was a lot to cover there, but hopefully we've left no stone unturned. See you with that monthly forecast later on today at onedegreeoutside.com.